Hi there, thanks so much for joining us here on Atlanta News First Plus. I'm Gurvir Dhindsa. We've got a really special guest that we want to introduce you to today. Adhemar Montagne is the brand new face, the main guy for Telemundo Georgia. It is great to have you with us.
It's my pleasure to be here with you.
We want people here in Atlanta to get to know you, the people here in Georgia. So you haven't been here that long yet,
I think
right?
less than 3 weeks.
Less than 3 weeks.
Yes.
And you're coming to us from?
From Miami right now.
From Miami,
yeah.
Okay.
It's been a long trip. Yeah.
I'm sure it has. And
Yeah.
you know what? So the weather's been pretty good this weekend. It's
I
not going to feel
know.
like Miami weather.
I know.
I can just tell you that.
I know. But
right?
we've been blessed with almost 70-degree weather.
Almost 70 degrees, which is pretty good. You have been in journalism for how long?
I started in 1991, so 30 plus years.
30 plus years.
Yeah.
And I find your story really interesting because when I met Adhemar off camera, I said, hey, so originally where are you from? And it was kind of funny when people ask me, you know, where are you from? I say
Right.
Nashville, Tennessee.
Right.
And they go, oh, well, that's not what I was expecting. And so when I said, where are you originally from?
Right.
It was kind of a long story to get to where you are.
And I always say that. It's a long story.
Okay.
I'm the son of a diplomat, a Peruvian diplomat. And I was born in London, England, lived there a couple years. Then I lived in Rome, Italy. Then my father was transferred to Lima, Peru, where he's from. I started my kindergarten education there. I did like 2.5 years. Then I went to Colombia. And then I went to Chile, 4 years in Chile. Then I came back to Peru, went back to Peru and finished high school. And then I came to the United States back in 1983, where I went to college. I went to a Jesuit Fordham University in New York. And then I finished. I went to live to El Salvador, where my father was stationed. And then soon enough, I got a job at the UN. I worked at the UN for like 3 years. And then I started my career in journalism in 1991.
This is so fascinating to me. So I'm like, so being the son of a diplomat and moving so much, there are like pros and cons. Like,
oh yes, of course.
You learn very quickly to make new friends and to be quick on your feet and that kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
So what are the advantages? What did you think you gained most from that?
Well, languages for one. I mean, I think I speak the language, not only Spanish well, but English well. I also speak Italian. I kind of learned it when I was a little kid, and then I kind of took it back in college. And then other languages as well. So you're exposed to different cultures, and especially in the Hispanic community, so you can blend more and understand their, how do you say it, idiosyncrasies?
Idiosyncrasies. Yeah, there you go.
So see, my English is not that good now.
It is good, it's excellent.
So having lived in Chile, Colombia, El Salvador, a little bit of Mexico, and knowing the cultures, as a Hispanic journalist in the United States, it works well. I worked in Miami with Cubans, and I worked in New York with Puerto Ricans. So, it helps you to understand their culture. And then, of course, the concept, it's like it's you don't have that thing with, oh, I went with this guy in kindergarten. Of course, you keep a friendship with that person since that young age. But at the same time, you have what do you call that? Reunions from different countries.
I love that.
Yeah, 30-year reunion in Colombia, 40-year reunion in Chile.
I know. You really learn not just to assimilate, but to actually understand different people and different cultures too, right? So you get a real understanding that you're not just living in a bubble. Right?
Yeah,
which is really great.
It gives you a different perspective of the world.
Yes.
And that's definitely an advantage. I mean, there's very few people that can say, I visited, I traveled, I was a tourist, but I actually assimilated in the culture and I understand them, right? I lived there.
Yeah. So when my family immigrated to the States when I was 7 years old from India. And the reason I became a journalist is my father, he had us watch the news because he wanted us to really understand what was going on, not only in this country, but the world. And it was CBS News, so we always watched. So I'm curious as to what drew you maybe to journalism when you've got a father who's a diplomat, and you could have certainly taken that route.
Yeah, I actually wanted to be a diplomat. I think most kids, they want to emulate their parents' profession, whether it be the mom or dad's. And I was discouraged from going to diplomatic corps. The career had taken a different route. It wasn't as, I don't want to say prestigious, but it wasn't as, it used to be when my dad went into the diplomatic academy, you needed to have a degree before that, like a social sciences or political, international political. And he was a lawyer, so not anymore. So kind of the standards were lowered in Peru for that. So he said, pick something else. And I was like, all right, how about a pilot in the Air Force?
And your dad said?
Well, they're Russian planes. It's Hoys, they're not well maintained. You don't want to, fly. I'm like, okay, fine. How about an actor? Well, it's not too stable,
Right.
And he said to me, you'll be a great TV guy. He wanted me be in entertainment, I think. You love to talk, you move your hands, and I said, all right. And so I studied not journalism at the beginning. I was like TV production and but then for some reason, when I worked at the UN with the journalists, I was in Department of Public Information.
Okay.
I became friends with a couple of reporters and correspondents, and that's how I, ended up doing what I'm doing today.
It really is kind of like on-the-job training, isn't
Yeah,
it?
it
I mean,
is.
it really is. And
Yeah.
you become sort of a, what is it they say, the jack of all trades, master of
Exactly.
none. You know a little bit about a lot of different things. I know that you have covered some of the biggest stories. You were there in New York during 9/11. I mean, you've covered some huge stories. That's your journalistic side.
Right.
We want to know about you. Like, tell us about your family.
Well, I'm married for 32 years. I'm blessed to have a beautiful and a great cook of a wife. I say she's a chef. She's not really a chef, but I mean, she cooks like a goddess and I eat like a king.
There you go.
I have two beautiful children, a son of 29 years of age. Soon, I can't say it because if she sees this, soon to get engaged.
Okay.
I can't say the date. And a beautiful 25-year-old daughter. You're dressed in purple. I'm wearing a little bit of a kind of a tone. It's Lent for us, the Catholics.
That's
so
right.
we're living the Lent season right now. And so, today's Friday, and I sent them a little text message. It is Friday. No meats Fridays. We don't eat meat on Fridays on Lent. And so we are a very devout Catholic family. And so they live up in north in New Jersey. My son lives in New Jersey. My daughter in Connecticut. They both work in Manhattan, so they commute. And
is it hard letting them go like that? Is it because I have 15-year-old twins, and I'm dreading the day when I have to let them fly the coop?
I don't know. My wife and I are empty nesters, but we don't feel like empty nesters. We were married at a very young age. I was 26 and she was 23.
Okay.
And we had children right away. So we are young parents, but now we're kind of starting to live our lives.
And so what do you like to do?
I'm a cyclist. I love cycling.
Well, there's great cycling and great green paths and all of that in Atlanta.
Right.
You're going to love that.
Not like Miami, hot and flat.
That's right. Yeah, exactly.
So I'm looking forward to do that. And then, of course, we love, going out, restaurants, and, we saw something earlier today on ANF about, restaurants, and there's a Peruvian restaurant around here that we like to go try, Tio Lucho, I think it's called.
That's right,
And so we love to do that. And then we like to entertain. We moved into a house here in Atlanta because, apartment would be too small to bring people. So, soon enough, we'll have you come over to our house and
Good
enjoy.
Peruvian food? Is your wife Peruvian?
Oh, yes. Peruvian, international, very cosmopolitan, but definitely Peruvian food, her specialty.
That'd be great.
Ceviche.
That is excellent. That is excellent. So there's mountains that you can check out here, which is, great, fabulous, beautiful mountains, not too far. The beach is not too far from here, so that's all good too, right?
Right. Well, there I have to, disagree with you a little bit because Florida Beach is where, we have a house in Tampa. And so St. Petersburg, anything north of that, or even Destin, not too far from here, they're like really, really beautiful. So I've yet to go to Savannah. I heard a beautiful beach, even South Carolina.
Right.
So, and I'm going to have to start, speaking y'all and, with that.
A little southern drawl. It won't take long.
Yeah, well, the hospitality from southern, southern has really been beautiful. Tennesseans and Georgians and Floridians.
Well, I think you're going to like Atlanta, and I know Atlanta and Georgia are going to love you. It is really terrific to have you here.
Thank you.
Great to get to know you behind the scenes a little bit. So where can viewers see you?
Well, Telemundo, obviously, we have a website, but I'm going to be on Monday through Fridays at 6 and 11 p.m. And the website is telemundoatlanta.com. I'm usually saying .com, but it's .com.
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 Great. We'll be looking for you.
Thank you.